Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of Crafting with Class. Today, I am sharing my 2026 reading journal with you, and I hope you enjoy. This is my 2026 reading journal. So, as soon as I really started getting into my 2025 journal, I knew I wanted to do something really special for 2026. And so I did upgrade from my Dollar Tree journal to one from Archer and Olive. And as soon as I saw it, I said, yep, that's the one. And look at how absolutely gorgeous it is. So it's a vegan leather cover, but it's embossed and it is gold foiled and it is absolutely stunning. So this is my first, but not my last, I am sure, journal from Archer and Olive. And it came with it has two ribbon bookmarks. So one of them has the little ampersand for Archer and Olive. Anyway, I did add this 26 right here above the little ampersand in the bookshelf to personalize it. So let's take a look. I'm going to be comparing what I did in this journal versus what I did from last year's journal, 2025, and the things that I kept, the things that I added, the things that I might have tweaked a little bit. But anyway, so here we go. So starting off, we have the inside, and so this is the beautiful, if you can see the gold foil on the left, so pretty, of all those books. And then here's my intro cover. So again, with this journal, I used pretty much shopping my stash. I didn't really buy anything new. Actually, I did buy this couple of things. I'll show you real quick because you'll see it a lot. So I used the Bookish collection from Echo Park. So I got the frames and tags little ephemera pack, and I used a bunch of those. I bought 2 sheets of the Bookish paper, also from the same collection, and all that I have left of this is just like scraps. And then I also bought the sticker sheet, and so as you can see, I used a lot, but I still have a full sheet left and a bunch left, so I'm super happy about that. And let me show you what is left of the scraps. So literally this is all that's left from one sheet. So I did pretty well. And so here is my cover. So it has me reading my book, and so I put 2026 on the cover, and then my name there, and I decorated it with things from the Bookish collection that I just showed you. And this die cut is from Hero Arts, and so I made some of these for Christmas cards. Now, my first page, I wanted to start with how I became a reader. And so this is kind of my origin story of how I became a reader. And it all began with a monster. Now, this is what I wrote. And if you're not interested, go ahead and skip ahead. And here we go. So it says, it began with a monster. Chapter 1. When I was in 2nd grade, I was a good reader. It was fine. But I didn't particularly love to read. The local library had a book donation of books to poor kids in the neighborhood, so we would go once a month and pick up a brown grocery paper bag full of books that we would read on Sunday afternoons. For my mom, we would have Saturday morning cartoons, so we would also have Sunday afternoons for books. This was the OG TBR list of books that I had to read. One day, I picked up this little Sesame Street book that seemed babyish. Whatever. Well, the title did intrigue me. The monster at the end of this book. Okay, cool. Let's see which monster shows up. So I began reading. Reading this book was unlike anything I had read. Rather than a typical narrative, this book was interactive. Grover was talking to me. I became one of the characters in the story, and my actions caused some unfortunate but hilarious situations for Grover. He would beg me not to turn the page so he wouldn't get to the monster, but I was curious, so I would turn the page, and laughing out loud would ensue. When we got to the page before the last, I was genuinely worried about what would be on the other side. And when, with a shaky hand, I turned the page and held my breath, it was Grover. Then he had the nerve to say he repeatedly told me I had nothing to worry about. I immediately reread the story again and again, focusing on the illustrations and finding something new to laugh about. Sesame Street taught me English, but Grover taught me a love for reading. Now, I plan to do a chapter 2 because this will be actually like a duology because in my next journal, I will continue and tell you what happens after I came to this book and read it and what happened afterwards. Trust me, you'll want to know. So this is the first tab. Now, my idea was to make tabs, but then I forgot after this page. And so as you can see, there are no more tabs. I mean, I did add them, but not as like actual tab pages because I didn't want to cut into it. The whole point of getting a bigger journal was to have the extra space. So I didn't want to cut into it. So I kind of did, but kind of didn't do the tabbed little pages there. So for my little first tab page, I wanted to start with a quote about reading. And so this one is, "We lose ourselves in the stories we read, but we find ourselves there too." And I just love that quote. I don't know who it's from, but yeah. So there you can see I did my typical things. I layered papers, I tore papers, added the ephemera and everything. So there's the first page. My next page is my top 5 of 2025. And so these are not in any particular kind of order. These are my top 5 reads of 2025. These are all 5 stars, of course. So I wanted to start with this is the best of 2025. The next page is my ratings page. And so I kind of broke it down. So last year, because it was my first year, I just made a really like basic one, of like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then kind of what it meant. But I knew a little bit more of how I rated things, so I kind of expanded on that. So my 5 stars is perfection. I loved everything about it, no notes. 4.5 stars would be an amazing read. There might have been a minor flaw. I might have been a little nitpicky about things. 4 stars, it was an excellent read. Might have 1 or 2 elements that fell short, but would recommend. 3.5, it was a good time. Might not be a keeper in terms of keeping it in my bookshelf, but I might recommend it to the right person. 3 stars, it was all right. Some elements hit, some definitely did not. I may or may not recommend it depending on the person. 2 stars is meh. I finished it. It had potential, but it didn't materialize. 1 star, had to unsubscribe. Too many issues, not for me. So I did switch up my rating system from last year because last year I had straight stars, right? So I had 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But I did need those halves, so I did add them in, but I didn't do it between 2 and 3. Like I didn't do 2.5. I just never felt like I needed to. Is either a straight 2 or a straight 3. So I kept it like that for this year. Who knows if I need to change that for next year, but this is what I'm doing this year. At the bottom, I had to add this little page here because I forgot about it. I initially did it. This is my heat rating. So how spicy the book is. And so 5 heat little fire things means that it was dark, it was heavy, explicit, and triggers. So probably some taboo content in there. 4 fires means very explicit, mild kinks and triggers, intense chemistry. 3 detailed and explicit, but the plot is pretty much balanced with the passion in the story. 2 means some spicy scenes with minimal descriptions, mostly vanilla, so nothing too bad. And then 1 means it might have just been some kissing or some implied intimacy off the page. Next are all the feels. So let me move it this way. So this is the emotional impact of a book. So if I give something 5 teardrops, it wrecked me. It will be part of my next therapy session discussion. 4 is I cried for hours. It was gut-wrenching. 3, I felt seen. It was heartbreaking. 2, those are real tears. It was touching. And 1, my eyes watered, but that is all. So hopefully I won't have any of these because I think I'm choosing wrong. I don't want to be like this when I read something. And then this is kind of goes along with this. And so this is my reading flow map. And so let me bring it up closer. So basically it says, kind of when I'm kind of stuck in between two, like, okay, so it starts off with, did you finish the book? No, easy 1 star. So I finished the book, yes. Did you like the book? Meh, it's all right, 2 star. Did you like the book? Yes. Okay, we go on. Did you love the book? No, I didn't love it, 3 stars. Did you love it? Yeah, I loved it. Was there something you would have changed? Yeah, I would have changed this, that, blah, blah, blah. Then it would have been a 4 star. Nope, I would have not have changed a thing, 5 stars. So that kind of helps me to figure out when I'm in between things. So that is my rating system. Okay, this is my author's backlist. So there were 2 authors that stood out to me last year. Their books were phenomenal. So one was Jennifer Hillier, and this is A.R. Torres. So I made these little library pockets. This is a stamp set that I have, the little library card. This is from Brutus Monroe, I believe. Anywho, so I put Jennifer Hillier, I put the date of publication, and then the books from her backlist. And so the highlighted ones are the 2 that I read that were both 5 easy stars last year. So I do want to read her other books. And same thing for A.R. Torres. And so with her, I actually got to the very last one. She's going to have a new release this year in 2026. I'm so excited. So I'm going to try to read some of her other books as well. And they're blank on the back, but I'll stamp another card back there if I need to. And then I have 2 empty ones for hopefully some new authors I discover. Okay, next is my series tracker. And for this, I just put down the series that I would like to continue this year. Now, first up is the Agent Pendergast series. I've been reading this for like 20 years or more. And this month, at the end of January, they're going to release like the prequel, Pendergast the Beginning. I'm so excited. So I will be reading the next one in the Pendergast series. And then I want to finish the Ruinous Love trilogy and then finish the 3rd book from In the Shadows. And then I want to start the Robert Hunter Chris Carter series. So the first book is The Crucifix Killer. So I'll be starting this series. And then I left room for 2 series in case there's something new that I would like to add and read. All right, next is my reading log. So I'm going to write the title, the author, how many pages it was, what genre does it fall in, what year was it published, the format that I read it in, and then what rating did I give it. And I had room for 35, but I did read 40 last year, so I don't know if I read more than 34, I'll have to add like a tip in or something, like an extra page, but that's a future me problem. But this is my reading log there. And next is my Read Around the World. So for my Read Around the World, I had this Hello Kitty travel theme paper I've had for eons. And I thought that this would be the perfect time to break it out. And so I took bits and pieces from it and kind of collaged it. So my idea is to write down all the places that I travel through books. So, which is what it says right here, places I've traveled in books. And so, like, whether they're fictional places or real places, so I will put it in there. So that's that page. And then this is my favorite quotes, and that's self-explanatory. So writing down special quotes that I come across in my reading. Then this is my bookshelfie. I loved how this came out. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Put it out there. I really loved how it came out. This took a long time to do, and it's all die cut. So I die cut all the books and place them along these shelves that are also die cuts. And this was a true shop my stash moment here. So I did the little window here with the kitty there on the window. There's a bust here and one of David. And so just little knickknacks all around. And so here is where it says hashtag Shelfie is where my little key is. So that is the ratings for the books that I read. So I added another one. So if it's a 4.5 book, it's going to be silver with the ends in gold. So yeah, so that's my little key. And so that just gets tucked in behind that little heart to hold it in place. And so there are, I think, 48 books that I put on here. So I don't know if I need more or less, but I liked how it ended up turning out. So there it is. Next are my ranking the reads. So last year I did similar thing, and oh, actually, yeah. This is just so that I know how big I need to make the covers. So I just slipped that in there. And these 3 are gold because these are my top 3 reads. And I explained this in my 2025 one, but this is basically what I did last year, and it worked wonderfully for me for what I wanted to do. And so this is pretty much going to take care of 2 things for me. So ranking it and also displaying the books that I read during the year. So basically the way this works, if you didn't see my 2025 journal walkthrough, is I would print out the covers and then I would put it according to what rating, star rating I gave it. So let's say I loved this one, but a little bit less than Vera Wong, but a little bit more than The Only One Left. So it would go here. And so I made it so that they could slip in and out easily so that they can change, right? So I can move them around as needed. And that worked beautifully for me. So anyway, so that's what I did here. Now this year I expanded it so that I had 45 spaces. So there's a little bit left in case I read more, but if not, I have plenty of room. And I did this Dutch door thing here so that the back is all, cohesive, and just this is the space where I have the extra room. And so yeah, so that will be how I rank and how I list all my reads for 2025 with book covers. Next is my DNF. And so for my DNF page, I took inspiration from my first horror book I ever read, and still to this day, my favorite Stephen King book and movie probably, which is Pet Sematary. And so this is the Pet Sematary graveyard in the back. And I put DNF graveyard, and I stick a little picture of a cat to remind me of church. So there you see it. And I put a quote at the top from the book that says, "Sometimes dead is better." And that is my DNF page. So if I DNF a book this year, I will just put the cover on here and call it done. So that's my DNF page. And if you don't know, DNF refers to did not finish. So a book that I just did not like enough to want to continue it. So did not finish. And that leads us to the second tab. And this is for challenges. And so on this page, I have another quote, and it says, "A room without books is like a body without a soul," by Cicero. And so again, I use the same elements, the ephemera, a little torn paper, and then here are the challenges that I'm partaking in for this year. So of course I'm doing the buzzword because I had so much fun with that last year. So here is how I did last year. So I got all the book covers. I missed only two here. So it was so much fun doing it again. So I'm doing the cover challenge and then the title, the reading challenge there. Now, for the buzzword challenges, even though they're by month, I don't do it by month. I pretty much just read and see, does it fit anywhere? So that is what I do. And the next one is my mystery thriller bingo. Let me move it this way. So for the mystery thriller bingo, because that is my genre that I read the most or most interested in, what I did is I numbered them, and then I wrote them on the, and like I made a little flip page, and so I wrote them here. So for example, if I read something and it's a missing person, then I'm going to go to box 12 and write the title for the book that was about a missing person. And now here, let me move this here. So these are kind of what I did last year also with my bingo. So my little bingo that I had last year, where I used the transparent post-it notes on top. I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I got some yellow ones. And so these I have them on here ready to go, and I just cut them in little pieces. And so let's say I got the missing person one, I can just put it on top, and then that way you can still see the prompt, but it's covered up. So yeah, so that is my bingo page there. And don't you love the blood splatters to match? And this is my Haunted Library book club. I'm so excited because I've been wanting to be part of a book club, but they're all like romance or fantasy or romantasy genres that I don't typically read. So I'm so excited. This one just got started. And so this is by Isabel Reads on YouTube. So I will link the video at the description box. So if you're interested, you can join. So she's already picked out the first three books. So we're starting off January with The Place Where They Buried Your Heart. And then February, we are reading The Wasp Trap. I have not heard of this, so I'm very interested. And then in March, we are reading We Live Here Now by Sarah Pinborough. And I'm excited because this one I had on my radar. So I'm so excited we're going to read that and I get to talk to somebody about that. So here are kind of the, place setters for what's to come. And so, yeah, and look at how cute. Look at how cute um, the little images. So cute. So that's my bingo and my book club. This is the next challenge, and this is a year of Goober. And so Goober is the little ghost right here. And so every year, and this is by Joshi Corinne, and she is Jess and Joshi Corinne here on YouTube. And so I will also link the information for this challenge below, as well as any of the other challenges in case you're interested. But Goober every year learns a new skill or new trait. And so this year he is learning all about baking. And so he has a little micro bakery going on. Now, I did set this up according to what my needs were. I'm not sure if this is how you're supposed to do it, to be honest. But anyway, let me show you what is, or how I set it up for myself. So this comes from Jess. I put the months here. So these are blank, but I put the months in here. And I then made this little bookshelf. It doesn't look like this when you get it from Jess, so that I could put the book covers. So as you can see here, I already have my first book picked out, The Crucifix Killer by Chris Carter. And what I did here is I made another little like flappy page, and behind it are the reading prompts. So for January, you have two choices of baked goods. So you have sourdough or banana bread. So that means you read the first book in a series or a prequel, or you choose an overdone trope. But since I wanted to read the Chris Carter book, which is the first book in a series, I picked sourdough. So I highlighted it and I have it ready. So I have already printed and have the little desserts ready to go, because right now I have the time to do this, but once the year gets going and school is super super busy, so this is why I did it like this. So what I did is, so here's the little uh, bakery shelf, I guess, but I had printed this and it was too small for what I wanted, but thankfully I didn't throw it away. It worked out perfectly as my little prep area for my desserts. So January, since I'm choosing sourdough, I have already printed them and I have put adhesive on the back already, so that when I finish, I can just attach it right, straight to my little bakery thing. But in the meantime, it's just gonna sit and wait until I'm done. And so I've done that for all the months. So you notice that some of them have just one choice and some of them have two, because the ones with one choice, I know, I know that this is what I'm going to do. So like, for example, February, you have the choice of red velvet or macaron, and red velvet contains romance or colorful cover. Of course, I'm going to do some kind of dark romance, so that's a given. And then for March, I chose croissant because it's either given a second chance or multiple POV, point of view. And I don't do second chances. You can ask my exes. So it's probably going to be a multiple POV. So that's what I did, croissant. So yeah, so that's pretty much how that's going to be. So I will put the dessert here each month, and then the book cover will go here. And then I have my prep area, and then which one I'm choosing for the reading prompts. I love it. I think this is so going to work for me, and it's going to keep me very motivated. Next is the alphabet challenge, so the ABC challenge. And so this is just writing down, or books that begin with that letter. And so, for example, the crucifix killer would go here, right? So I would just write the title on the letter C. So that's kind of how I wanted to do it. So every time I read a book, I'll write the cover, or I should say the title, on the letter itself. So I was able to squeeze in all 26 letters, so you can see how much hope I have in X and Z. So, but I did put Y because you never know. It could be you or your. It's more likely than X or Z, I think. But we'll see, because I've never done this before. And then next, I have the Read the Rainbow. And so all you do with this is look at the covers of the books that you read. And then if the cover is red, then you put the cover here for your red book, for your yellow cover book, for your orange cover book, and so on and so forth. And then I added white and black. So that's hence Read the Rainbow. And I put this butterfly in the sky as a nod to Reading Rainbow, because I love, 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 love that show as a teacher, as a parent as well. And yeah. And then that's it. I have this blank page. I wasn't sure if I was going to do some kind of reflection there, or if I was going to do another challenge. So that's why that sticky's there. And then here's my third tab. And this is where my reviews will be. And so my third tab has my last quote here that says, "In the case of good books, the point is not to see how many of them you can get through, but rather how many can get through to you." And I 1000% believe in this. And that quote comes from Mortimer Adler. And I couldn't agree more, Mr. Adler. It's not about quantity, it's about how much these stories impact you in your own story. So here's where the reviews will begin. So I have one more thing to show you. Now, remember I showed you this in my 2025 journal, so I'm continuing it. I'm having King George, Jonathan Groff from Hamilton, tell me what comes next. So in case I don't have something guiding me through the challenges or my book club, then I will pick something out of here. So this is a pocket right here, and I will be pulling out the titles from there. Actually, the pocket is underneath right here. So all my little book covers will go in here. So for example, I have some in there already, and that will be actually February's book club. So I have them there. So yeah, that's it. I hope that you found this interesting or inspirational in some way. And I will do a final flip through without talking so that you can see them a little bit more on your own. All right, if you have any questions or anything, please leave them in the comments. Let me know what you think. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing. I cannot express to you how much I appreciate it. Until next time, bye. Until next time, bye.